Well, hello. Alright, so I'm back again. Sorry about that, we had a power cut. Hopefully that's the only one, so I've had to start again. Yep, so, anyway, what I was saying before we got rudely cut off. I was in two minds whether to continue with these current affairs, news, political-based type videos, because, to be honest with you, I was getting really despondent about the whole situation. I was just ready to just kind of give up on it all, really. But anyway, I haven't. Here's another one. I don't know how many more I shall keep doing, but give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe. Share the video. Help us out. See how we get on. I'll take it from there. Anyway, there's a few little things I just want to have a chat about, really. First one I'm going to do is about Gen Z. Because I know you guys are so impatient. Yeah, you won't sit here for 2 minutes, and if I can get any of you in here, and you'll be off again. So, yep, Gen Z. So some of what's been kicking about with Gen Z over the past few days is this Netflix drama. It's a TV show. It's a drama. It's not a documentary. It's not a factual issue. It is, I believe, loosely based around one or another incidents, but that's beside the point. Now, the biggest uproar at the moment seems to be it's portrayed by a young white lad, which, fair enough. Look at it this way. If it was portrayed as a young black lad, the mainstream media would be going mental. They'll be having a fit. Racist, blah, 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 stereotype, all the rest of it, which I can't understand that. If it was a brown lad, same thing, Islamophobic, racist, stereotype, blah, blah, blah. So, somebody had to be the star of the show, shall we say. So it was a young white lad. Alright, it's unfortunate, but don't take it personally. It is a TV drama. It is not real life. It is not a documentary. It shouldn't be showed in schools. It shouldn't be shown in the Houses of Parliament. It's a skewed vision. It's not correct. Now, I'm not saying knife crime is not correct. I'm not saying whatever. Yeah, we know there's a problem with all that sort of stuff. But to you, Gen Z, don't take it personally. They're trying to brainwash you. They think you're stupid. They think you're idiots. They think you'll fall for all this crap. Now, when you're roaming around on Instagram and your TikTok and all the rest of it, and you come across so-and-so, I don't go on there, so I don't know. But you come across so-and-so, and they look a bit weird, and they talk a bit radical, or they blah, whatever it is. If it doesn't hit well with you, if your first reaction is, well, I don't know about this, turn it off. Get off of it. Now then, being a man. Being a man's not about going around shoving people around, punching people in the face, picking on them, treating women like shit. Excuse my language. It's not about that at all. Some of this applies to you young ladies as well. It's something you can do. 100% free. Free as you like. Don't cost you a penny. Please. Thank you. Excuse me. Hold a door open. For anyone. Anyone. Man, woman, child, disabled, black, white, green, yellow. Who cares? Give your seat up on a train or a bus for an elderly person, a pregnant lady, somebody who's disabled. Be kind. Now then, the be kind thing gets took to extremes, as in you got to be some soppy wet ass. That's not true. That's not true at all. You're fully entitled to stand up for yourself and have an opinion, have a view, have a standpoint, and I applaud you for that. And from us old farts like me, yeah, I'm an old fart. Whatever. I weren't always old though. Once upon a time, I was your age. In the age of Mohicans and safety pins through people's noses back in the early 80s, the punk era, and all the rest of it. So we've all been rebels, we've all been there, we've all been tarnished, but don't take it serious. Take some tips from Christianity. I'm not saying go rush off to church, I'm not saying be praying in the streets, none of that, but take some of the ways of Christianity back on board. We are a Christian country. England is a Christian country built on Christian values. That doesn't mean you have to go Bible bashing in the church, blah blah blah. If all you want to do is just take a view of it, take something from it, then good for you. Stand up for yourself. Don't be browbeaten. Don't be pushed into silence. Don't be pushed into weakness. Stand up for your women. Stand up for your young girls at school. Stand up for them. You're not enemies. Girls, boys, school, young adults, young ladies, young men. You're not enemies. You're what makes the world go round. Love each other. Be polite to each other. Be friendly to each other. Treat each other well. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to leave that because I could just go on and on and on and on like a 2-bar watch, which none of you will understand probably. I should say a 10p watch. But anyway, so some of the issues I want to cover. Well, one of the main issue I want to cover is, as per the thumbnail, protests. Excuse me. I've got a little bit. Let me put a little bit of music on in the background. You may or may not be able to hear it. So these protests now, I see on YouTube and various X, whatever, social media, protests for this, protests for that, protests for the other. Which is fair enough. We have the right to protest, and without a voice, what else do you do? You go out and you shout because it gives you your voice. So I've made a quick list, and I'm sure there's many more I can put on this list. I don't usually do lists and scripts, as you know. I haven't got a script, but I've got a list. So we got farmers' protests, UKIP protests, Britain First protest, Protect the Children protest, Unite the Kingdom protests, Let Women Speak protest, Cost of Living protests, Christians Against Persecution protests, Support for Israel protests. We've got another one, Aldershot, which is the only reason I brought this up is because it's constant. It's been going on for over a year. There's a protest in Aldershot against the migrants' hotels, which I agree with it or disagree with it. I couldn't care less. I'm not going to give an opinion. It's just another example of another protest. Now, the protests I've listed and named, these are your typical conservative, right-leaning, or if you listen to the government, far-right, which, what a crock of shit that is. So, these are all your conservative values that people are protesting about. Now, what I do see invariably is relatively small numbers at a lot of these protests. Now, there was one yesterday in London, a Protect the Children rally, with a crowd of maybe 50, 60 people. What? Why? So there's 50, 60 people in this country would like to see better protections for our children. No, that's not correct. I know that's not correct. Let Women Speak. Kelly. I should have written a name down, shouldn't I? Posey Parker. Posey Parker, she goes. Kelly J. Keane. Kelly J. Keane? I'm pretty sure that's who it is. Runs Let Women Speak. If you don't know what it is, Google it. Look on YouTube. Check it out. Check some of the protests they do. Christians Against Persecution. There was a rally about a week ago outside of the BBC protesting because the BBC has no coverage of this. Thousands of Christians and other minorities, Druze, Christians, Alawites, being slaughtered in Syria. Another case, 70 Christians beheaded in a church in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It doesn't sound very democratic, but whatever, that's what it's called. None of which was covered. Don't matter. Who cares? Whatever. That's what the mainstream media think. But we care, and there was a protest. Support for Israel. Fine, yeah, fine. Support for Israel. It's okay. I've got no opinion on that. I'm not giving no opinion. There was one yesterday, and there is another one today. The biggest protest, or rally, I'd like to call it, is the Unite the Kingdom rally. That seems to be the biggest rally that happens, which is basically English patriots. Now, if you're England, if you live in England or in Great Britain or the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and you're proud of your country, it don't matter whether you're black, white, brown, Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, Jewish. Don't matter. We should all unite. We should all unite behind our country. You all live here as well, so, and a lot of people turn up. But why don't, now I'm not picking anyone out here, I'm just going to go a bit random. So, the Protect the Children rally yesterday, where was the farmers who protest? Where was the UKIP / Britain First supporters that both had a small protest? Where was the Let Women Speak ladies? Okay, some may have been there. Granted, some may well have been there. But if the UKIP Britain First, and some of the farmers, some of the United Kingdom, some of the Let Women Speak, some of the Christians Against Persecution, some of the Israel supporters, if you all went to the Protect the Children rally, look how many more people would be there. Why don't you all look for these protests, which all relate to the issues you're concerned with, and go and support each other? I've watched a few Let Women Speak rallies, and they're absolutely scandalous. There's 30, 40, 50 women. A very light sprinkling of men. Where are all the men? Why are you not there supporting these women? Why not? The amount of hassle and abuse they get from other groups when they do a rally is absolutely incredible. They're your women. They're the women of this country. Let women speak. Is that controversial? Is that controversial? A woman should be allowed to speak and have a voice. I don't think so. Just go and support them. Look for Kelly J. Keane on Google, X, YouTube. They're all kicking about. All of these protest groups, they're all floating around. I don't know how you actually round all these up and get each other to support each other, but you wonder why the rate is split. Well, that's why. Because all you're interested in, well, not all you're interested in, I'm not being rude, but you focus on your thing. Bring these groups together. Try to bring these groups together. Now, I've got a small platform. My voice is just a whisper in the wilderness. I have no big following. I can't go and do some magical rally the troops because I just haven't got the following to do it. Other people have. You got your Paul Thorpe, your Richard Inman, your Mayor Toosey, your Liam Tufts, blah 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 blah. I could sit here and just ream them all off, and I love all them guys. They're great. They do a fantastic job. If I email one of those guys, it just gets obviously swept aside because they get a lot of emails and I don't have the platform. So if you're watching this and you have got a bigger platform than me, you do it, because I can't. I'll just be shouting into the wind and nobody will hear me, or very, you know, a tiny minority. Encourage this sort of thing. And things just stop concentrate on one thing, guys. Stop concentrating on Tony Romo. You know what I mean? Tony Romo. I'm not going to say it because my videos keep getting put down there. My last video, the views was some of the worst, some of the lowest views I had, and I put that video on a paid promotion with YouTube. I actually paid to promote it, and the viewership was extremely low, so I'm 100% convinced they're shoving me down the bottom of the pile. So support each other. Come together. Support each other, guys. Please. Won't let women speak to a rally. Get off your asses, men, and go. Protect your women. Stand by your women. Stand up for your women. Yeah, women don't need men. They don't need men to do this, that, and the other. For the same token, men don't need women either. That's what we are. Men and women. We're partners. We are two sides of the same coin. We're both unique in our own individual ways. Yes, we're different, but yes, we're the same. By the same token, race. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're brown. Peel that skin off. You can't tell a lot of difference. We're all human beings, and what do we want? Peace. Unity. We don't want to live in fear. We don't want to live in silence. So we'll try, everybody, to come together. If you're a black person looking at this, I love you just the same as I love a white man. If you're a brown person, a Muslim, I love you just the same. But it has to be reciprocal. So the unifying, the unifier in all of this is not your colour. It's not your race. It's not your creed, colour, race, religion. That is not, shouldn't be your unifier. What should be your unifier is the love of your country and the love of your fellow British citizen. This is your country. We are your people, and you are our people. Right. I ain't got a clue what but anyway. I just go off on a tangent. Sorry, guys, but all of this what's going on is making people scared. Do you like living in fear? Do you like the fact that you have to, before you open your mouth, you have to stop and formulate the sentence you want to say in your head before you say it, to make sure that you don't say particular words? That's the question. Yes, you do. You know you do. If you haven't realised it, think about it. Think about it when you're sitting in the pub, sitting in the canteen at school, or in the playground, or at your football match. Think about it when you're having a chat. Do you just say what like you used to? Do you just say this? Do you just come out and say what's on your mind? No, you think about it first. Why? Because you could say the wrong thing and get arrested. That's not a good way for society to be. I am a believer in absolute free speech, with a caveat. You should be able to say absolutely anything you want, unless you're inciting hatred, violence, or anything of that nature. You should be able to say and criticise anything and everything. Unfortunately, we're not in that position. Hopefully we can get to that position. So on that note, that is the Free Speech Union logo. Get on the Free Speech Union, sign up if you can afford it. If you're disabled, if you're retired, if you're on benefits, if you're a blue light worker, if you're a veteran, you can get an annual membership for $29.95. If you can't afford that, well, fair play, that's okay. Even if you think you don't need Free Speech Union, lots of other people do, so you're helping out society, you're helping out other people. It's a good thing to do to help. The other thing is the pledge. Now, the pledge seems to have lost favour in being promoted. It should be promoted. It's a simple set of values, guys. You just go and sign up with your name and email address, and just a couple of basic bits and bobs. You'll be then put on a mailing list, and you show your support for that set of values. Have a read. It's thepledge.org. Have a read. Sign up if you want, if you think it's a good thing. What that does is that gives a political leverage. Again, both of these are nothing to do with me. I'm just a member of the Free Speech Union, and I've signed the pledge. With enough numbers, the records of the pledge can be taken to political groups with numbers and offer the support of the pledge to a political group or party or person, whatever. So it may well help. But anyway, so that's covered then too. The protests was my main thing, guys. I've just found it so frustrating when I watch on social media so many different people going to so many different protests in small groups, protesting against basically we all want the same thing. And my suggestion to you all: get this out to get this message out to the people who have actually got big names, got big followers, got big platforms. If you can possibly get a message to them, try to get them to promote this. You group support that group, and that group supports that group, and they all support each other, and where possible, all the people who go to all these different protests. If there's one in close enough for you to go for and you can manage it, get there. Don't just go to the United Kingdom. Don't just go to the Let Women Speak. Try and go to them all. I know you're not all going to be able to, but you know what I mean. Protect the children. I mean, that should have attracted thousands of people. There should have been an audience of thousands. Really? Do we not want to protect our children? That's my point. If you can't get my point, that's fair enough. That's okay. I don't mind. I'm just some idiot sat here with a microphone. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the shit out of this video. Make a comment if you want. Feel free to comment. Tell me what where I'm going wrong. Tell me what's wrong with what I'm saying. I'm open to that. Perhaps I'll make a video and respond to anybody's concerns about what I'm saying or anything else. I don't know. We'll see. But feel free to make a comment, share, like, subscribe. Get this video about a little bit. I don't know. Does it make a point? I don't know. You're the judge of that. You're the judge of whether it makes a point, not me. I can just say all this. And in all honesty, my head is so scrambled with this flood of, I would say bad news, but it's a flood of things. Every single day, again, I made a point of it in my last video. Every single day I put the TV on, I'll scroll through a bit of this, that and the other, and invariably I end up like this. Oh my word, oh dear me, whatever's going on, every single, that can't be right. It can't be right. My other option is to just watch Cartoon Network, which is this is probably a better option actually. Okay, so I wasn't really going to cover a lot more than the protests. I will make a little comment about Tony Romo though. I'm not going to say his name because I'm sure that gets me put down at the bottom of the heap. So it's actually the Angry Bootneck. If you haven't followed the Angry Bootneck, check him out on YouTube. He's an ex-Marine and he's a down-to-earth, working class geezer. He's just a bloke, and that's what he does. He calls him Tony Romo. So I'll call him Tony Romo. Yep. So we all know. Well, lots of us know about the court case held this week and the failure. Now I did see a post. I'm sure it came from Urban Scoop that said on the 11th of April there is another case coming up, which is an appeal against sentence. Now I might be wrong, and correct me if I am. Feel free. That's what the chat's for. So I'm going to, when I finish this video, I'm going to have a look and see if I can find that again. But unless it was in error, I'm 99.9% sure the post said that on the 11th of April, another case will be coming up, which is an appeal against sentence. So, fingers crossed. That's correct. It's appeal to the conviction or contempt of court. I'm not now. I'll cover a little bit of this. Thanks, Beef Breakdown. So Beef Breakdown says that's correct. It's to appeal the conviction for contempt of court. Now, whilst I'm not going to argue, that isn't my understanding of it. My understanding of it is a conviction against the sentence, i.e. being too long. So just a few words on that. So the appeal against sentence, that is a possibility of a win and a reduction. If I'm right about that, my prediction for that is if it's an appeal against sentence, I predict it'll be dropped to 12 months, which, funnily enough, in a rough calculation in my head, I make that about May. So about May release. And if I'm correct, the not giving the code to for the phone, the T charge, I'm pretty sure that's when that comes up in May. So I'm kind of conspiracy theorizing in my head that if it's an appeal against sentence, and if it gets reduced to 12 months, it'll take it into May, maybe with a crossover with this other trial, and then receive a guilty verdict and another sentence to carry on from the contempt of court one. Right, now let me cover the contempt of court, because I've heard a lot of confusing messages regarding the contempt of court case. I'm going to try and cover it quickly. So, the Tony Romo made a documentary called Silenced. The young Syrian lad who was involved in it brought a libel case against Tony Romo. The documentary Silence was used as defence against the libel case. So, whatever, we all know, you know, a lot of the details of that, so no point me running on about it. Now, the judge at that libel hearing found Tony Romo guilty. and issued an injunction. Now, the injunction was you are not allowed to play that documentary at all. In other words, throw it in a bin, it's done, it's over, nobody can see it. So, the people keep wondering why there's never a jury, but this is why. Because the injunction is not a conviction. It's kind of a pre-conviction, if you wish. So it's basically, if you do this, you are guilty. So there is no need for a jury. Right. Now, normally, with an injunction, what would happen is X person is stalking Y person, complains, takes out an injunction on the stalker. The stalker is told to not go within 1 mile of that person, okay, or that person's house, whatever it be. So, 2 days later, the stalker is seen walking past the person's house. So the person rings the authorities and says, my stalker has just walked by my house and broke the injunction. But now the injunction has been broken, it is now a contempt of court. So there doesn't need to be a charge brought. The charge has already been brought in the previous case. So this is what happened with Tony Romo. The injunction was put on regarding silenced. The documentary was released. As soon as the documentary is released, that is an admission of guilt which is impossible to defend. You cannot defend it because you have broken the injunction, and that is a contempt of court. Some of the controversy is this. The Syrian lad or his legal team, neither of those reported this and brought the case of breaching the injunction, hence contempt of court. They, as far as I have been made aware, that was not the case. What the case was, a far left group, HNH, I'll let you work out who that is, took this to the Attorney General off of their own back and made an insistence that it was taken to the courts for contempt, which oddly enough, the Attorney General decided to do that. Now, that's not usual course in justice. That's not usually how it works. Like I say, it's usually the victim reports the breach, and then it goes back to court. But in this case, the victim didn't report the breach. A third party did and took it to the Attorney General, which then took up the case. So, personally, and I'm not a legal expert, personally I can see absolutely no grounds for an appeal on conviction. If there was, Tony Romo would have no doubt pleaded not guilty. There is no, unfortunately, no other plea than guilty. If you stood up and said, not guilty, I demand a trial by jury. So then you've got to employ barristers, solicitors, etc. Take your case in front of a jury, and then you say to the jury, the injunction was this man shouldn't play this documentary. This man has played this documentary. What do you think? Well, the jury's going to take about 5 seconds and bring back a guilty verdict. So then Tony Romo would be paying thousands for his own legal costs. and 40, 50,000, 80,000, however many thousands the judiciary decides to slap on him for legal costs outside for for an absolutely pointless exercise. And Tony Romo's not that stupid. But I will check that out, and I'm pretty sure it said appeal against sentence, which is more logical because I would say the sentence is grossly exaggerated, but that's my opinion. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. But the evidence is out there that it's not really proportional. So anyway, let's cover that. I have had some other personal issues with the Tony Romo side of things. Now, I don't know Tony. Never spoken to the man. I do support him, 100%. Based on freedom of speech, freedom of expression, his freedom to make that documentary silenced, much the same as we've seen from Panorama and all these other documentary makers where they've used secret recordings and blah 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 blah. Tony Romo is a journalist. You can argue that all you like, and if the only requirement to be a journalist is you have to go to a university or wherever it is and get some bit of paper what says you're a journalist, well then that's absurd and that should be thrown in the bin. His journalistic work is out there to be seen. Yeah, it's rough and ready. He's a working class bloke. He's a geezer. It's like me doing this. I ain't some trained journalist. I'm sitting there talking crap in her. Right. But anyway, so yeah. Let's have a look. I got another bit of paper here. There's a couple of other things I could bring up off this bit of paper. I'd just have to Google it, so I'm not really gonna bother. But quick message to, I don't know, youngsters under 30, over 30. I don't know. If you watch if you watch mainstream media, if you watch the BBC, Sky News, Channel 4, all of them. You're not actually getting the news. You're not actually getting a story. You're not getting told the truth. You're not getting to see what's going on. What you're getting is cherry-picked versions of the truth and skewed to whichever their agenda, whichever agenda they basically follow, or ideology. Now, this is not what media is supposed to be. This is not what news channels and news cycles are supposed to be. It's ridiculous. So what my suggestion to you would be, look at alternative media. Go on YouTube. Check YouTube channels out. Some of them will be biased to the right. Some will be biased to the left. Watch them all. Take your time. Make your mind up. Blah, blah, blah. A good example is, again, going back to Tony Romo. How he's vilified and called a racist. Now, I did a deep search yesterday on Grok, which apparently is quite a powerful AI. And I had quite a good dialogue with Grok regarding... now, what brought this on was a comment made on GB News by one of their left-wing commentators. And his first reaction when the name Tony Romo was mentioned was how much of a racist he is. Now, I've gone around, I have found absolutely everything I can that's available, kicking around, documentaries, clips, the whole lot, every single thing I can find, so I can go, oh yes, there it is, that's why he's a racist. But I can't find anything, so I challenge any of you out there, if you can find me something which is directly racist, please drop a note in the chat, put a link in the chat to the evidence, and I'll happily look at it, and I'll then make another video and apologise and admit how wrong I am. But the conversation with Grok, I kept taking it round and round in Grok, from with Grok from different angles. Now, all Grok could come up with, and bearing in mind the AI takes information from everywhere, from what I can gather. So Grok could give me 2 examples. One example was back in early 2000s, I believe it was, on something Tony Romo said on an EDL march, and the other one was a tweet from 2018. Now these are the only 2 examples that Grok could point to. My argument then became with Grok, because it's centered around Tony Romo's brushstroke views and opinions on Muslim people. So my question to Grok was, to be a Muslim, does that mean that you follow Islam? Grok's reply was yes. So then I asked Grok, is Islam a race? His answer was no. So then my question was, if Muslims are followers of Islam, and Islam is not a race, how can you be racist? Because you have objections to Islam. I'm trying to pick my words carefully because I don't want to upset anyone, any other religious views or whatever. I'm not really interested in that. And so after more questioning, it basically boiled down to, with Grok, that his basic take overall was they hadn't actually said anything provable that is racist. But what he had done was said something which could be interpreted by some, and they could have an opinion that it might be or could be seen as racist. Now, how absurd is that? So, when people come out and go, oh, because he's a racist, and somebody says, well, give me an example, and they can't, this is the sort of rubbish they're going on, is because he said something which might be thought of by someone, and in their opinion, it could be seen as being racist. Oh, well, you're racist. Oh, dear. It's hilarious. It's just... So, anyway. For a lot of you out there, you're already racist, fascists, Nazis, far-right, Islamophobes, and all the rest of it for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not gonna defend myself by saying I'm not a racist. I'm not an Islamophobe. I'm not gonna give anybody the satisfaction of sitting here defending it. I'm really not, because it's just absurd. And or I'm a Nazi. What I would ask them, who wish to call so many people fascists and Nazis and all the rest of it, is how many members of your family have fought and died for this country? Post in the comments. My son is a veteran. My father was a veteran. My grandfather was a World War II veteran. My great uncle was a World War II veteran, and I have actually seen some of his records from World War II. He was a Lancaster bomber navigator. So I've got a little bit of history with fighting for the country and whatever, all of that kind of stuff, and fighting against Nazism and fascism and all the rest of it. But there you go. I don't know. There's no point in me trying to defend it. Call me what you want. I couldn't care less. Right, okay. There's honestly a billion more things I could discuss. I'm going to see how this video goes down, guys. I really would appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share it wherever you want. And like I said, the main central point of this video is the protest. Protests here, little protests there, little protests there. Try and get yourself together. Try and get this message to the larger platforms if you possibly can. I can't seem to. Try and bring the protest groups together so they've got a louder voice on these issues. They're all individual issues that we're all behind, but they're going off on their own. And this is where all the splits seem to be happening. So I'm going to leave it at that. God bless you all. Whoever you are, whatever colour, whatever race or religion, God bless you. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you have a peaceful day. And I wish you and your family all the love in the world. So I'm going to leave it there, and thank you all so much if you've watched this video, and hopefully I will see you soon. I'll have to try and dig around and find some good news from the UK and write my little list down and come out and give you a good news announcement, but I'm not holding my breath. But thank you very much, guys. Love you all. God bless you. And I hope to catch you very soon. Don't forget, thumbs up, sub, share. Thank you very much. Bye, guys. Love you. God bless.